Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to this special episode dedicated to flexible fiber optic bronchoscopy. Today, we'll take an exciting journey into the world of bronchoscopy, and I hope you truly enjoy this episode with me. So, are you ready? Let's begin our journey. As we advance the flexible bronchoscope, we can clearly identify the laryngeal inlet. The epiglottis is seen anteriorly, forming an important landmark before entering the glottic opening. Here we can appreciate the epiglottis and the airy epiglottic folds on both sides. Posteriorly, the corniculate and cuneiform tubercles can also be identified. And finally, we can see the vocal cords forming the glottic opening. The cords are the key landmark before we pass the bronchoscope into the trachea. As we advance through the trachea, we can see the cartilage rings and the anterior wall. We can also see the posterior membranous wall, and ahead of us is the carina, where the trachea divides into the right and left main bronchi. This is the carina, where the trachea divides into the right and left main bronchi. From here, we can clearly see both main bronchial openings. Here we can see the right and left main bronchi. The right main bronchus is shorter and more vertical, while the left main bronchus is longer and more horizontal. Now we are entering the right main bronchus. We can identify its anterior, medial, and posterior walls, and the bronchial lumen extending distally toward the right upper lobe and bronchus intermedius. Here we can see the orifice of the right upper lobe bronchus. The right upper lobe spur separates the upper lobe bronchus from the continuation of the right main bronchus. Beyond the right upper lobe, the airway continues as the bronchus intermedius. It will subsequently give rise to the right middle and right lower lobe bronchi. Here we see the right upper lobe bronchus, dividing into three segments: RB1, the apical, RB2, the posterior, and RB3, the anterior segment. This is an endoscopic view of the distal aspect of the bronchus intermedius. The bronchial anatomy of the right middle and lower lobes is clearly visualized. We can identify the carina between the right middle and lower lobes. The right middle lobe bronchus, RB, is seen here. Distally, we can identify the apical sigmoid lobe, RB6, as well as the basal segments of the right lower lobe. Here we are looking at the right middle lobe. The lateral segment, RB4, and medial segment, RB5, are clearly identified. Here we can see the bronchoscopic view of the right lower lobe. The bronchus divides into the superior Mayer segment and the basal segments. At the basal part, we can identify the medial, anterior, lateral, and posterior segments, corresponding to RB7 through RB10. Here we are inside the left main bronchus. As the camera advances, we can identify the left upper lobe bronchus anteriorly, while the left lower lobe segments continue deeper into the bronchial tree. Moving deeper into the left main bronchus, we can see the secondary carina, the lingular bronchus, and the branches of the left lower lobe, including the apical segment, LB6. Now we are entering the left lower lobe. From this bronchoscopic view, we can identify the basal bronchial tree and the segmental orifices leading to the lower lobe segments. Here we identify the basal bronchus of the left lower lobe, with visualization of the B7 plus B8 segmental orifice. Further examination reveals the lateral basal segment B9 and the posterior basal segment B10 of the left lower lobe. This concludes our bronchoscopy journey. Thank you for watching.